Welcome back to a new edition of Visual Basic Express 2012 for Business Programming. I'm going to have a look at a different way of creating forms called Windows Presentation Foundation. So if I go to New Project here, you'll see that we've got a WPF application. This is going to be my first WPF, only it really isn't my first. I've had two that have gone wrong already, so this is number 3. Accidents happen. So there we go. This creates a blank form. You'll notice it looks a bit different to the one we're used to seeing. But if we just go to the toolbox, I'm going to narrow that down for a moment, pin it. It does seem to get in the way more when I'm trying to do this sort of work. We'll add a button. There we go. And we'll add a text box. And we'll just write a simple hello world. So we'll double click on the button. Now, this is one of the major differences between creating normal WinForms and WPFs. That would normally have been created with text box 1 as its name. So if we do text, there's a text box, but that's the class. We want text box 1, the object. So go in here and let's have a look. Text box. It doesn't automatically set a name. So we'll call that text box 1. Now we can go in here and that automatically gets picked up by the IntelliSense. Oops, text box 1 dot text equals hello world. Okay, and we can run that. It looks pretty much as usual. Click on the button, changes to hello world. So that's all as expected. It's worth noticing while we're here, if I make those a bit smaller again, this is the sort of source code, if you like, for the form. So the main window is there. The button you see gets highlighted as we select it. The text box gets highlighted as we select it. And we can create new things in here just by typing them in. So I'm going to copy and paste that button in. We can change the text. The text, first of all, is now in a thing called content. We can change its size, we can change its location. Let's move it across. There we go. But that's too high now, so let's take it down. There we go, just dump it in the middle of nowhere really. And we can change its alignment and all sorts of things like that. And we can also give it so that it's going to be handled by a new function, which in this case I'm going to call handle button 2. Okay. Now we've got this. Let's go and have a look at our code. No handle button 2. Button 1 click. Yeah. And let's go and look here again. So for this button, we can look and see the events. That's the little lightning bolt. And on click, there we go, handle button 2. So if we double click on that, we'll find that it automatically creates the default. And there we can say text box 1 dot text equals hello from button 2. Okay, one thing to notice that's different between this and the Windows Forms. Windows Forms, this would have a handles clause to tell you which event it's handling. This doesn't, because it's declared in here under the button. And that can be a bit confusing. So bear in mind that there are certain differences that may take a while to get used to. You'll notice also this button here, it's telling you the 120 from the left and the 80 from the top, so it actually makes it easier to see where you're positioning things. Notice also that these little anchor marks, if I click on that here and click on that here, when I run the program, don't see any difference to start with, but as I resize, those sides of that button are anchored to the sides, and we can make it disappear, which is a bit unfortunate. but they're anchored to the sides of the window. So you can actually have, if I unlock those, it will move around instead. You can actually have this shift around. Now we can do that in Windows Forms as well. It's just not so easy to see on the design sheet. So have a play around with Windows Presentation Foundation. It's an interesting way of doing things, and it does get you a bit more used to the idea of HTML style of coding and XML, which you cover in other subject areas. So it's worth having a look at. It also does allow you to write code which will run in Internet Explorer and in some other browsers if they've got the right plugins. Okay, have fun with that.